Hello everybody, my name is Nicholas Rivas and I talk about politics and stuff. And today we're going to be talking about why you shouldn't vote for Republicans. I know this is an odd video to make, especially under the shit show we call the Biden administration, but it's been something I've been thinking about. It's been something that I've been trying to convey to myself, I think, and to, of course, others, especially with Roe v. Wade occurring. It's kind of, or the overturn of Roe v. Wade occurring. It's kind of just been sitting on my mind of like, oh, if Trump wasn't elected, would we be in this situation? And I can say confidently, say we had, an Obama type president or even Biden himself, any sort of Democrat selection, I guess other than Tulsi Gabbard, I'm just thinking of the most recent presidential nomination, Democrat primary. Most of them, I would feel confident in saying that they would keep up the Roe v. Wade. There would be no overturn because there would be no Supreme Court pick that would even think about overturning it. But in the case of Trump's election win in 2016, he was able to put 3 Supreme Court judges who are stirring up this shit show. So it's confident to say in this that, oh yeah, Republicans shouldn't be elected because most of these issues, definitely if you're left wing, I would argue any American would find atrocious, but Roe v. Wade overturning is just stupid. It's just disastrous. We're on such a good track of keeping abortions legal at some federal level. I mean, there should have been a codify of the Roe v. Wade, codified into law. There should be a federal legalization of abortion. Fuck the 6-week point. Fuck all that. It should be up to the doctor and the patient. That's where I stand. It might be probably very unpopular. I think most people have some sort of line, and I definitely do as well, but I just think it's odd that there's government interference with women and their doctor. Like, women and their doctors should just handle that shit themselves. But I guess, we can talk about the abortion topic itself and the pros and cons, but the thing that's been ringing in my head was all of this could have just been avoided if we didn't vote for Trump. Now, I'm not defending Democrats. I think Democrats are fucking trash and dog water, but given what we have next and what we have because of the dog water policies of the Democrats, it's like, well, of course I'm going to pick the Democrats because the Republicans have put us into a barbaric, time. It doesn't withstand most voters. I think most voters are going to vote because of the gas prices or because of the stagnant minimum wages, right? Like, no one's going to see the Roe v. Wade and be like, we need to keep Democrats in. If anything, I think they're going to blame the Democrats because right now we control the House, the Senate, and of course the presidency. Now, that's most Americans. I sit there and go, well, that's the reason why they're going to vote for a Republican. But unfortunately, I don't have much of a leg to stand on because I think we should vote for Democrats if Republicans are the opposition. Now, ideally, I would get rid of the Electoral College. I would have more than just the 2-party system, of course. And I don't like Democrats, but I just think that sorry, I have a cat hitting my microphone. I just think the obvious answer right now would be, I'm never going to let a Republican win because of the abortion stance that I have. And I think a majority of Americans would do as such. To me, it just seems like a straightforward, like, I hate the Democratic Party, but God, if we have another Trump, I don't see it stopping with just abortions. I see it going to contraceptives and even gay marriage and LGBTQ rights. I just think the social issues of the Republican Party is very old. Most Americans don't believe in it, but these right-wing politicians are very right-wing. You have these Bidens of the world, and they're very middle. They're not provocative or radical in the sense of the American system. So I have no other reason to vote for Republicans at this point. I just can't see a world where they continue to win and I continue to feel comfortable to support them, right? Like, the Democrats are awful, but they've shown me that they would protect the abortion rights of women. And so I just don't see how I could even, if I maybe sit out of an election, and not vote for the Republican, that's beneficial in my mind. I still don't think that's good enough. Like knowing that the Republicans have a chance to win freaks me out, so I would vote for the Democrats. But that's me. Like, you can't sell that to most people, and I know people are getting frustrated and angry. I'm sure my father would murder me if he heard me saying this, but it's the truth. Is most people don't care. I'm sorry, it's messed up, but people don't care about these kind of topics. For me, I do, and shoot, even if they did care, I think a lot of them wouldn't. There's a lot of recency bias, so I think if you were to propose, like, hey, don't ever vote for Republicans, or let's make sure Republicans don't win because look what happened to Roe v. Wade, they would probably say, well, it was under a Democrat president. Now, obviously, you could say, well, because you had a Trump in 2016, we let this happen. Like, if Hillary occurred, it would have been terrible, of course, for the country, but not as bad as it was that, what Trump brought. And that's just one of the many topics. That's just kind of the more topical situation. I would argue voting for the Republican Party led to a million deaths for COVID. I would say it would almost led to World War III with the killing of Soleimani, the general from, I think, Iraq. Forgive me, Iran. I wish I knew more. But yeah, so I just, at this point, it seems more straightforward and understanding not to vote for the Republican Party. And if everyone knew, I think, the ins and outs of the true levity of what the Republican Party has done, I think it would be easier to sell people the Democratic Party. But again, the Democrats are doing their great for themselves. They're not really showing their strengths. I mean, it's this running joke of like the Republican Party is this devil Satan group, whereas the Democrats are just buffoons, and I think that's being really cordial to them. There's definitely corporate Democrats or very malicious Democrats like Joe Manchin and Kristen Sinema who don't give a damn about the people and are for profits over people by a long shot. I'm not even saying that just to disagree with them. I mean, look at Kristen Sinema, the lady flipped 180 on a lot of her policies. So in a small rant, please don't vote for Republicans. If you want to set off the election, I definitely disagree with you. I think we should make sure the Republican Party cease to exist. But I don't blame you for being disenfranchised by the Democratic Party. But I can sure in hell tell you that the Republican Party is going to beat the living shit out of you. If you are a left-winger, I can't see why you would vote for the Republican Party. So, yeah. That's my video. I know it's hard to sum up a political discourse between two parties and the rights and wrong between them both just in an 8-minute video. But I hope you all enjoy your days and have a good old time. And sorry that the video probably doesn't fit the audio. I try to play games to get the attention of people, and it's just fun for my end. I get to play games. We'll talk about politics, so that's always fun. But yeah, so kind of my topic. I definitely feel I'm gonna get some hate for this one, but I stand by my word. So I apologize if I offended you and your shitty beliefs. But yeah, so new videos every other day. Please like and subscribe and follow me on my social medias. Thank you.